What is one item you find completely useless that other people you know obsess over? Fake nails. Ugly branded clothing items with huge brand logos that cost you a fortune. I mean, why would you spend a month's paycheck just to endorse somebody's business for free? Because it says you can afford that brand. Didn't Burberry burn some of the clothes that didn't sell so they wouldn't have to sell them at lowered prices to poor people? Literally every clothing brand used to do this. H&M in my city had to get modified dumpsters cause homeless folks kept raiding them for the tons of perfectly fine clothing they were throwing away. Engagement rings worth 3 months' pay. I spent $900 on my wife's set of wedding and engagement ring and I think it looks fantastic. She told me a little more plain would have been nice but sees no problem with it, is it? But the reason it's nice is because I went and picked it out and all that. Plus if it gets wrecked because she forgot to take it off before going out with our fire department, it's not that much to replace. Having thousands of dollars on your hand makes absolutely no sense to me. Wouldn't you be afraid every time you do something? I have been married twice before and I'm getting married again next year. My first husband didn't want to get me a ring. We were alternative and too cool. I was totally fine with that. Got a CZ one just to show people, and lost it a while later. Didn't care because it was El Cheapo. My first wedding ring was very fine silver and cost about $50. Super comfy and I still have it. I wish I could still wear it. I loved it. He and I are still close friends. My second husband insisted on real diamonds. Even though I said I really didn't want them, he spent about $2,000 on a pave ring, which I also still have, but one of the diamonds came out, which makes it worthless. Looking back, his insistence on the money thing should have been a warning. We ended up divorcing because money was so important to him, and I can't respect that. He no longer speaks to me. My soulmate picked out my ring with me. Lab-grown jewels. Cost $200. We're currently looking for wedding bands for $200 for the set. One of the reasons I am so grateful to have him is that he truly understands and believes me that money disgusts me, and people's focus on it is just gross. Moreover, he agrees. Made for each other. Smart watches. I have zero use for them, monsieur. I have one and find it useful for helping me use my phone less. Get a notification and it's just a quick check on the wrist instead of getting your phone out. Reduces the temptation to reply instantly and get drawn into a discussion. Probably helps that I usually wear a watch anyway. I get where you're coming from though. Alexa, do your own shit. Funny enough, this could also be something you say to Alexa. A friend of mine is handicapped in a wheelchair and Alexa, in connection with smart home features, has been a game changer for hi monsieur, but I sure as hell don't have one. CS. Go skins. Like bro, your family struggles to afford living and you blow away $500 monthly to get useless CS. Go skins. I don't get why people go out and upgrade to the newest possible phones the minute they come out. Not only are they gonna be buggy as shit until a few updates come out, but why would you go through the trouble of moving all your information, apps, number, etc., over to a new device every other year? Not saying that getting a new phone every year is worth it, but the reasons you list are pretty weak. You make it sound like new phones are virtually unusable until the first update comes out, which is not true, and moving information, apps and numbers onto a new device is an automated process done within minutes both on iOS and Android. Other people's sexuality. Seems everyone cares about who they're someone else is fucking. Who gives a shit who you do in your private life as long as it's between consenting adults? Didn't know my sexuality was an ITE, monsieur. Bread making machines. I can make you a lovely tasty loaf in about 1.5 hours. A bread maker will make you a small square loaf with a crap texture and a bloody great hole in the bottom, and take 3.5 to 4 hours to do it. What's the point? Emo. Their primary use isn't to make bread. It's to make the smell of bread when you're selling a house. It eliminates a lot of work. I throw the ingredients together in the evening and the next morning I'm awakened by the smell of freshly baked bread, or the beep when I have a cold. Texture can be very good if you have good ingredients. I do agree that it never beats a properly baked bread, but that's lower on my priority list. Growing up, I would set mine to be ready when I woke up in the morning. I loved having hot bread and butter first thing in the morning. I happen to like the texture. But you're right about the whole "that was annoying." The Kardashians, autographs, TikTok, smart IoT devices, like smart oven. You can do almost everything on conventional things and don't cost much. And it doesn't sell your data. Instagram. I love it. Cute puppies and historical houses directly to the brain. It's like Reddit in that it's exactly what you make of it by what you decide to follow. AirPods. Didn't understand the idea of the Monsieur. I had headphones that worked just fine. Then I got AirPods and I will never not have AirPods again. Or at least some wireless headphones. They have a clear use. Especially as someone who gets frustrated with wires and cables. I wouldn't bother buying any though because they seem far too easy to lose. Designer face masks people are wearing during the COVID-19 pandemic. I love having a face mask made out of a fun fabric because it makes me feel like I can express myself even though my facial expressions aren't visible. Those masks that just have big logos or name brands are absurd though. Sneakers. I prefer to be comfortable with $60 Asics than have to worry about every step with $400 Yeezys. They're meant for walking. I doubt they'll ever be worth millions, hardly even thousands. What's the point of collecting them, Monsieur? I know two people at work who are obsessed with sneakers. They have dozens of pairs and could probably wear a new pair daily for months. They have apps that alert them to new limited runs being available. It blows my mind. Jewelry, honestly, except for a few necklaces my husband bought, made me. It seems a waste of money and a huge inconvenience as well. My hands are swelling, so I took off the wedding ring last week. I don't miss it. I don't understand paying hundreds or thousands of dollars on something that has no practical use. Do you feel that way about all art or just jewelry? Just jewelry. I think it has to do with all the pressure sales tactics starting from when I was little. Mom needs a necklace for Mother's Day. No prom outfit is complete without a ton of jewels. Pay 3-month salary for an engagement ring, etc. Ad nauseam. Monsieur. Mother's Day, birthday, anniversary, Christmas, Valentine's Day, and just because the Mr. is in the doghouse. Ads and commercials for jewelry. I'd probably be fine if it had some real meaning for me. But I own 2 necklaces. One my husband made from driftwood and resin. The other he had me pick out from a store based on where I lived as a child. I have 2 rings. One my wedding ring. I don't want any more than I can wear at one time. Now sculpture and painting. I can fill a house with those. Beauty is essential. Jewelry not so much. I'm with you. I enjoy art, but jewelry is bad because of the expectations and pressure to buy it. No one is telling me that I need to buy a painting for my GF. But jewelry. Your comment is spot on. Astrology apps. No offense to anyone who believes in star signs and such. You do you. I just don't like the idea of being told what to do. Who I am, what's my personality, etc., etc. I know myself, my personality, and I'm not all that interested in knowing what's going to happen to me. Not to mention, they heavily contradict themselves and are very vague so that you can apply it to something in your life, if it makes you feel any better. I don't know anyone who is actually into astrology that likes those apps either. The people who like those apps are the same ones who read the cosmopolitan horoscopes. Also, actual astrology doesn't tell you what to do, who to be, or what's gonna happen to you. Thermomix. I don't see the hype and I'm yet to see a great meal come out of it. Yet people obsess about them so much. Thermomix is practically a cult. If I'm missing something, thermomixers of Reddit, please let me know. I paid my tithe and now I want my kitchen's salvation, damn it. See, that's the sort of thing that tries to do everything at once and fails miserably. I tried one out once at a friend's place because she insisted that it was a million times better than my KitchenAid, and yeah, 1/10 I would rather have the KitchenAid. I don't understand how you managed to make something more expensive than a KitchenAid that is also fucking useless. You're not missing anything. You can do anything you want with plain equipment. Minus sous vide. I mean, you can. But it's much harder than with a machine for it. Source: am a professional cook. Makeup. Pop sockets. I'm not obsessed with them. But ever since iPhones got bigger from the original size, my dainty little lady hands have a harder time holding my phone in one hand. So I like having some kind of holder on the back. Plus having a thing to mount it in the car is nice. But there's no way I'm buying multiple just to change up the look. Tiny hand gang. I used to think the same. They're actually nice if you have a larger phone. Mac Pros. I'm not paying $10K for something that has the same performance as a PC for $1K. Fuck you, Apple. I read the incredibly expensive computers are not meant for randos like you and me, but for professionals who need the crazy stuff they can do. But that doesn't mean randos don't buy them. So you absolutely have a point. Seconding that, I moved into macOS for work reasons. It's like Adobe Photoshop versus Painttool SI. The latter does fine for furry commissions, but your international multi-billion corporation client is going to expect Photoshop working files together with your $36,000 invoice. My criticism mostly comes from idiots who just adore Apple and buy their Mac Pros as fucking home PCs or gaming stations. But I'm completely fine if it's for work-related reasons because Mac OS is just superior to Windows. But I still hate Apple's price because paying $6 grand for an 8-core Xeon processor, a Pro 580X, which is worse than the RTX 1660, and 250 gigabytes of storage is just a scam, monsieur. Show me that 1K PC that is on the level of a 10K Mac Pro. They both run Facebook the same, so they're both the same. Any device that supposedly helps with cooking. Most things can be accomplished with few materials. You don't need 10 plus devices, each one designed for a very specific task. Solar turkey chopper. It depends on the volume you plan on doing. A box grater is fine for mac and cheese. But what if I want to shred 2 pounds of cheese for storage? A food processor with a shredder attachment turns that 10-minute arm workout into 30 seconds of amazement. Have you ever tried to make coleslaw with just a knife? My food processor has cut my prep time for meals so much. I love it. Disagree. Air fryers are great because you don't have to use 8 pots and then wash them all. Also, the thing that mixes stuff like dough and whipped cream without your hands having to go 10 kilometers per minute. Otherwise it would come out bad. Tattoos. If you want them to look good, you're going to pay a lot of money. I grew up in poverty and I could not imagine spending money on them, monsieur. That, and most tattoos just look tacky to me. I respect your decision to do body art. You do you. Just curious if that Powerpuff Girl tattoo is going to be a future regret, lol. This is the only one so far I disagree with. I'm planning one that is very symbolic to me and my personal way of putting on the outside of me the struggles inside. Some of these tattoos you see really make you shake your head. Whether it's trashy looking or bad placement or whatever, but at least you can talk about it with your friends after. Those DLC things that you are supposed to buy to go with your video game. I paid my money for the video game and now I'm supposed to pay more money for the rest of the game? What the hell? The cost of the video game hasn't dropped and you don't even get all of it? EA. Every now and then I look up their most downvoted comment ever when I feel pissy about the DLC crap. And it warms my heart a bit. Assassin's Creed 2. While it's a great game, Did this real dirty. As you play through, you complete chapters of the story. One day I was looking through my completed chapters and saw that about 1/4 into the game, there was a missing number. I somehow missed a story chapter. Nope. That chapter was DLC. I don't care if it's some extra side mission packs like Fallout 3 or New Vegas did, because I still got the full game. Making a story chapter in the game a paid DLC is just shitty. Some DLCs are good though. For example, Fallout 3 DLCs were really long and worth the money. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.